And actually, my project, well, let me, ah, hey everyone, hi, welcome back to my channel. I am going to be getting ready with you all today. This is something I used to do on the regular, and I haven't done it in a while. I've got books in front of me. I've changed the table that you usually see back there is now in front of me, which I've done before. I've had this like workstation set up before, but not recently. So I've gone back to it, and I'm gonna catch you up on some projects and life and all of that. So if you're new here, then hi, what an interesting video to start with. I'm Shelly, and I really like books and reading, and sometimes I do kind of chill, get ready with me kind of content while I catch you up on like sort of what's going on in my life and all of that. So if you are into that, then I would encourage you to subscribe, stick around, like the video, and without any further rambling on, let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. I've already put on foundation and I'm trying to talk and it's not meshing well. So I'm going to pause the makeup and I'm going to focus on you all. Through the short history of my channel, occasionally what happens is I feel disconnected to my bookish people. I feel disconnected with this like incredible, intense, and very beautiful hobby in which I sit in a room and pretend there are tons of bookish people around me, and we're talking books and we're in conversation about books and we're just thrilled with books. And occasionally, and this has happened before, occasionally I feel a little bit disconnected from that, I don't know, from that concept. And I feel like I think I've talked about it in terms of like, I feel like I'm pretending that I'm happy, and there's nothing wrong, but it's almost as if like I haven't caught up with my spouse. Wow, y'all are right up there with friends and stuff, or with the spouse, you know, my spouse. It's like almost like I haven't had time to catch up with him in a couple of days. And when I do see him, I'm like, yeah, things are good, things are fine. But we haven't really like caught up on life with each other because maybe our schedules are out of sync, or I don't know, something akin to that. And so the antidote or the cure to that is to sit down and talk about what's going on. And I do that with my spouse. I'll do that with my friends. Oftentimes it'll, you know, I just have other things going on. Like we all live really busy lives. And so thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me, you know, while I'm on that topic. Like everyone has these busy lives, and I'm always so grateful to be able to connect, you know, whether it be with people in my real life, or whether it be with you all here. And it's been such a lovely space, but for whatever reason, I've been feeling a little bit disconnected. And then when I do show up, I don't know, I feel like I'm not showing, I'm like, I'm not hiding something, that's not right. But I feel like I'm not as connected as I normally would because there hasn't been like a catch up in my life. And so here's the catch up. I think that is the context for what's happening. It's just sometimes hard to articulate it. It's almost like you go on a girls trip on that first night of the girls trip, or like sometimes when I'm visiting my parents, this is a good example. That first night, we're sort of catching up on like we're just excited to see each other. But you don't really get into like the meat of like what's been going on and some of the other things about life until you've been there like the next day, or like I'll spend a couple days with my parents, or they'll spend a couple days with me. And it's not until like, I don't know, like the second day sometimes, or that time that really we're setting aside time to sit down and really catch up. Sometimes that first initial reaction is like a flurry of emotions. And I feel like I've been sitting down and I've been kind of having that like first day reaction where it's like this flurry of excitement, and I have sort of an agenda on my mind, and I'm very focused about what I want to say and all of that. And then I sort of do the thing, and then I'm left a little bit disconnected because I haven't actually caught up, right? So this is the catch up, okay? This is the catch up. And we're going to go back in time now. We're not actually going to go back in time, but I'm going to go catch you up from like what's been happening, which has not even been a big deal. It's not been a big deal. And there's no drama. So if you're here for drama's sake, it's not that. But I'm going to back you up a little bit. So I spent spring break with guests. So I'm a teacher, and my parents came into town, and they first visited my brother up in North Carolina. My brother has newly moved to North Carolina. It's wonderful to have him in the area. He moved from California to North Carolina. I'm in South Carolina, and it's been wonderful having him closer by. So he's been there for 8 or 9 months now, and I haven't seen him a ton because he moved out right as my school year was about to start. So for the most part, we've been kind of busy, but also knowing that the other person is just a mere 3 hours away versus the, 3 or 4 day car ride, 5-day car ride or whatnot from before. So my brother's in town, and now when my parents come out and visit the East Coast, they have 2 children to visit, myself and my brother. So very exciting. So spring break hit, and I saw my parents. They were visiting my brother. I visited my brother, did the car trip up there. Really great. A few days later, they came down to visit me, and we hung out for the remainder of my spring break. And now looking back with this is like very little details, it seems like for me, but it was awesome. My mom and I went thrifting. Well, my mom and my dad too, and we all went thrifting, and I bought a lot of the books that I'd already shown you. My oldest son turned 8, and I threw a birthday party, which was really fun. And for the birthday, now I'm all excited. This is exactly what I needed to do. For the birthday party, my brother reciprocated the favor of driving, to each other's places, because it is like a long drive, and they can stay with me. However, I've learned over the years it's easier to make the trip in one day than it is to like stay overnight and kind of get a bad night's sleep and then leave the next morning. So, I did my trip to his house in one day. I drove the 3 hours, I spent all day there, and then I drove 3 hours back home. And then he was doing the same, but came down on my oldest son's birthday. And so it was really cool to have my brother here. My brother has 5 children. 4 of the 5 children came to the party, and it was so awesome to see my nephews. It was awesome to have my parents here for the party. We had a few extra guests. I made like 50 homemade carrot cake cupcakes. And we kept things really simple. I am not one of those mamas that just goes all out for, if that's your thing, more power to you. It is not my thing. Event planning and things like that is not my thing. Making good food is my thing, which is why we had 50 carrot cake cupcakes for only like 15, 20 people. Regardless, I was just so happy to have like thrown a successful birthday party, meaning that it happened. People came, people ate, people left. And I was really excited to have shared that opportunity and shared that event with my parents. And yeah, I don't know, it was great. And then I returned to school, and life went on. And actually in between there, I'm trying to back it up. Well, not back it up, but on the very last day of my parents' visit, Harry got out. He got off his leash, and I had to chase after him. And somewhere along the chasing of the Harry, somewhere along those lines, I injured my knee. Not a super intense injury, but it's like I pulled something as I readjust. It's like I pulled the back of my knee or something like that. I don't really know what happened, but I do know that it was hurting, and I was sort of limping along for a couple of days. I must really like this blush because I'm just using it too. I'm just piling it on. Anyways, I hurt my knee, and oh boy, did it hurt. I have had, on that same knee, I've had 2 knee surgeries. I had 2 knee surgeries before the age of 14 on that knee because it's just always given me issues, and it's my trick knee. It has caused me a lot of grief and a lot of pain over the years, and I tend to be pretty careful with it. I know what it can and cannot do. I am never going to be a long distance runner, but aside from that, I'm pretty good with it. Like I don't injure it anymore, and I stay pretty active, I would think. So like the morning that my parents were going to leave, I injured my knee, and I went to work that day, and that afternoon it was hurting so bad. And I don't know, I think it kind of dredged up some of that, for lack of a better term, anxiety or worry about it never healing, or for it, like maybe this is going to be how my life is now, is carrying around this pain, and just having that a little bit like in the subconscious of my mind. And it wasn't until it started healing that I realized that, oh yeah, no, like we're good. And that I had finally realized that I was carrying around that grief, I think, that anxiety or that worry that like maybe my knee is always going to be like stiff and painful. So I haven't really talked about this, but since January, I've been in a pretty regular, low-key workout regime. I work out like 5 days a week for a solid 15 to 25 minutes. Okay, like it all started with, and this has been since the beginning of the year, and then I'll catch you up as to why it's relevant. So since the beginning of the year, I have been really like on trying to take care of myself a little bit better. I actually was getting headaches, and I just have this bad habit of clenching my jaw, and then it will give me like tension headaches essentially. And I noticed that if I work out for 15 or 20 minutes in the morning, that all that jaw pain, I won't clench my jaw, and I don't have any jaw pain, and thus I don't really get any headaches, and things are fine. So that's been what's been going on since basically the beginning of the year. I am purely doing it for like reasons to feel good, like to literally like get those endorphins, to feel good about like my body, and to not have headaches and not have jaw pain. And believe you me, not having the jaw pain has been incredible, because I would have to take Tylenol almost every day to get rid of like this pain that I would have hinged right here, because I would clench my jaw, you know? And it's just like a life thing, you know, it's a daily life thing. And so anyways, the working out was helping tremendously, but then I injured myself, and I'm not working out anymore. So for the last couple of weeks, I totally fell off the wagon of working out, and I have not been doing that as I once have. Now the headaches have not come back. I did have a migraine a couple of days ago, which is a new thing that's happened in the last 6 months. I've had a couple of migraines in the last 6 months, and they are intense. and I do not like them. But I'm not getting like stress headaches and jaw pain working out, since I've been working out. And then since I stopped working out, those jaw pain and stress headaches have not come back, or tension headaches, or whatever you want to, something of that nature, have not come back. But I still haven't started a workout regimen again, and I'm missing that. I'm really missing that in my life. I really need to just like get back on the routine, the wagon. I need to like start again. And I tried yesterday, and like a ghost of the knee pain where I had injured it like came back to haunt me. And so of course I'm like, I don't want to re-injure myself because I'm trying to work out. So I really need to now as I'm talking about it, I'm realizing all the little pressures that I've been putting on myself. I want to get back to a workout routine. Not I need to, I really want to, because it feels so good to be back in my little exercise regimen. And I know like it boosts everything. It gives me that like glow that I'm doing something good for myself, and I'm making a positive change in my life, and it gives me the glow that I can manage like some of these aches and pains that don't need to be there. Like I can manage them with something really simple, like getting my heart rate up for 15 minutes. And why 15 minutes? Because I'll actually do it if it's 15 minutes. If I say that I have to like get my sweat on and go super hardcore, this used to be my mindset. If I said that I have to like go and like sweat and get, be in it and, really push myself, I burn out so quickly and I don't like it. So what I try and do is just kind of getting my heart rate a little bit elevated. Maybe I'll push myself a couple times throughout the workout, and I am in that state of like an elevated heart rate, maybe sweating a little bit for, again, about 15 to 20 minutes. And then once I kind of have those 15 minutes under my belt, I realize that I want to do more. And so I'll end up doing a little more than I thought I was going to, especially since the 15 minutes is so achievable. And then 15 minutes is also like, if I'm always like, oh, I don't want to do it, or I don't have time, I'm like, girl, it's only 15 minutes. Like, you can do it for 15 minutes. And now that I'm talking to you all, I'm like, girl, it's only 15 minutes. And it really does you so much good as I'm like bringing this at you. And it really does you so much good. And you really, really love it. And so let's just like put some of those worries about your knee at rest and like get back onto the routine again. So that's kind of been low-key what's going on. And then something else happened as I'm not like trying to point my finger at you. I guess I'm just being very theatrical with my makeup brushes. So I did a version of this several weeks ago in which I talked to you all in kind of a lot of detail about my visit with my parents, and I was talking about a whole bunch of kind of more in the minutia of it all, what was happening. And something happened that has never happened. Oh my gosh, now I feel like holy blush. My gracious me, the blush. All right, so something happened that never has really happened. I mean, it's happened every once in a while, but not to this extent. I filmed 2 videos that didn't have sound. There was like no sound to the videos, and I was baffled. That has just never happened to me. The sound thing has definitely never happened to me. The next thing I'm going to talk about has happened before. So 2 videos were like down the drain, which, it's like, I love this process so much that it wasn't too much of like a heartache or a setback, but it was annoying. And also, like, some stuff happened with my editing program, and I thought that I had lost my introduction music, conclusion music, and end pictures, which I've had for years now, and I didn't realize how attached I was to the little intro music, the ending music, and the like flower wallpaper that I use to open my videos. I did not know how attached I was to those until I thought I lost them. And then there was kind of like a few hours there where I had to like really dig in and do some investigating as to like what happened. And I figured out that I hadn't actually lost that stuff. But for a little while there, I thought I did. And so, you know, that was kind of frustrating. Oh, this is all dovetailing with the lost sound videos. And then an additional element is that I was trying to film a 2-camera setup in which I was just trying something new, which is good. This is a good thing. I was trying something new. I was trying to do a 2-camera setup with my iPhone and this camera here, because I have a camera that I talk to you all on, and then I also have my iPhone. So I was going to use my iPhone for a setup, and I decided to test out this concept on an incredibly long video. It was my video about fantasy, and I had all these little books that I had cut out, the covers of books that I had cut out, and I had little mini versions of it all. And the idea was that I was going to have like a shot down video, a shot like the footage going straight down to look at my hands, and then a talking heads video. And it took forever, like 2 shots, and I was going to integrate them. And I was like, I got this. And I filmed for like an hour and a half. I was like working really hard on it, and then I was attempting to integrate it, and it didn't work. It just like didn't work. It didn't, and like I understand the value of like trying something and then understanding like what did and didn't work, and you know what that means, like the consequences of it all, and like learning from that experience. Like I do think that I can learn from that experience, but it was also right when I had lost, or I had thought I had lost some stuff, and right when I had filmed without sound. It was like the next thing after that, and so I was just so irritated. Like I was like, why is technology failing me? This is terrible. This is terrible. And again, this is like super first world problems. Nothing is actually in peril. You all get me. But also like the annoyance of all of this piling up, all coming to a head last weekend when I tried to do the 2-camera angle video, and it didn't work, and I was just downtrodden. I was like, I'm done. This is so frustrating. And then still having to turn around and like want to put something together so that I am showing up and I am still connecting with you. But it was just so like, bleh. This is exactly what I needed to do, because I'm already feeling so much better about just letting you all know and letting you in on like what happened, you know, what's been happening. So I haven't had a ton of time to film, and besides that, I feel like some of my creative endeavors have just truly not worked out. like no sound, or not being able to integrate 2 video clips, and you know, the whole kit and caboodle. And then here I am, I'm trying to show up and talk about what's going on in my reading life, and the wall is up. Like, I feel like there's a wall up, and I'm like, I don't like that. Meanwhile, so also the wall is up, and I'm just, I don't know, maybe that was it. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just felt like the wall was up, and I'm taking the wall down, and I'll feel good, and all of the creative ideas will be flooding in. But I also feel like maybe because I've been blighted at every turn, but also I'm in the last stretch. I'm truly in the last stretch of this school year. And I have had an incredible school year. I love my job. I love the school that I'm teaching at. I love the students that I'm teaching. I love the staff members I'm teaching with. It is all really wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stuff. I am so blessed. And I'm in the last month of school, and everyone is just excited for summer, you know? Like, everybody is. I'm excited for summer. My personal children are excited for summer. My students are excited for summer. The other teachers are excited for summer. And I could just feel the change in the air. Like, I mean, actual change. If you're a teacher, you know that near the end, well, at least where I'm at and every teaching job I've ever had, near the end of the school year, there's a lot of talk of like, what are you teaching? What are you teaching next year? And are you coming back next year? And who's leaving again? And if there's any like student changes, because I work at a private school, there's a lot of like people who, you know, might opt out of sending their kids to private school next year, which is an option. So I'm like, I'm even asking the students, are you planning on being back next year? Are you planning on being back next year? You're coming back next year, right? Well, partly because I want to see them all. You know, I'm like, I taught you, and then I want to see you when you're next grade, and I want you to be able to say hi to me in the hallways, and yeah, like I want to say hi to you in the hallways. Let's just be real. And so, having said all of that, there's just like the wind of change has been coming through the school, and I can feel it. And I think that I am resistant to change. I can be stubborn with change. I know this about myself, so I can work on it. I can work on my inner self in terms of this thing that I have. I can find change a little bit overwhelming. I know this about myself. So I've been preparing myself, preparing my heart for the upcoming changes and just being okay with whatever happens. And because so much, I mean, even like this week, our schedule is different. Like everything just like there's even the littlest changes sometimes can kind of throw me off. And I feel like in some ways what it's making me want to do with my channel is that I don't know, like it's not that I don't want to change, but I want my channel to be a steady state. And usually it's kind of, I don't want to say it's the opposite, but usually I find refuge in my channel. Like I find that my channel is this fun and enjoyment and exploration, and I can kind of do whatever I want because I'm not stuck on, you know, making videos that may only perform in the algorithm or something. But again, I don't really know. It could be all the stuff before, like feeling like there's a wall up, or just the feeling that there's a lot of change going on, but I haven't felt very explorative. I haven't felt very playful. And this is just how I'm feeling. I haven't felt like very creative in this outlet, and I really don't know why. So I'm hoping that changes. See, change is good. Change is good. I'm hoping that changes soon, because this is one of the best things ever. Like truly, it's like making videos, talking to bookish people, making bookish friends, being in a chorus of conversation with so many other people. It has been one of the greatest blessings I've ever had in my life. And it's been such a joy. And lately, I think that my attitude about it has been that it doesn't necessarily feel as joyful as it normally feels. And I feel that in my heart because I don't feel very creative, and I'm coming to you with feeling like there is some separation and distance, and I don't like that. I don't like that. So again, hopefully when this goes up, I'll feel better about it all. And I wonder how long I've been feeling this, because when at the end of April, I had set that challenge, or no, at the beginning, sorry, we're at the end of April now. At the end of March, I had set that challenge about trying to only read favorite books, like books that I thought would be favorites. And I had just made a couple of videos in a row feeling like I had not been having a very good reading year. And that's so not true. It's so not true. And I've been trying to drill down into why I'm feeling that way. And, there are a couple of reasons, and maybe I'll get into them later. But like, why am I carrying around this concept? Why am I carrying around this weight? Why am I carrying around the feeling that it's not been a good reading year? I don't really know. I don't really know. And so, so yeah, so I think I've been feeling this way for a long time. The disconnect between like my reading life and my channel and my feelings, it's all been a little bit disconnected, and I'm hopefully going to integrate all of that soon and then feel more like myself and show up in the way that I want to show up. So yeah, I guess that's all that's been going on. I will kind of update you a little bit about the reading challenge. So I had, at the end of March, I had set aside this idea that I was going to only read 5-star books this month, like books that I think would be 5-star books, like books that would be favorites. And it's been really good. I think really what's happened is that it has allowed me and opened me up to being able to DNF, to not finish a book I don't want to finish. So I feel like I've been more attuned to when I'm not liking something. And also, I think I've just been choosing good books this month. Like, I've been actually choosing pretty good books this month. So I finished Deception on His Mind by Elizabeth George. That was, I think, one of her better books in the series. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. It had a lot going on, and actually it focused more on it focused on, like, so, you know, the Sherlock and Watson in an investigative team. Usually in literature, there's like a Sherlock and a Watson. That's kind of the setup typically. And so it was like a Watson-focused story. And that was really lovely because if you're a fan of a series, if you're a fan of the characters, when you shift the perspective to a character that doesn't get as much airtime, and you're like totally focused on them for a whole novel, it's a lot of fun. And that's what that novel did. So that's been great. I also finished, I'll actually just say it, but I've read the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. And I did find a favorite for the year. Maybe I'll save that for my wrap up. I don't know. Actually, I think I found a couple favorites of the year. So I read that because I really, 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 really enjoyed My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. He writes sort of silly, super entertaining, horror-esque books that are set in Charleston. And they're always they're a good time, y'all. Like, they're a good time. I thought the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires was a little bit more wordy and a little less tight than, I'm trying to like do the brows, okay, than My Best Friend's Exorcism. I felt like My Best Friend's Exorcism was executed so well. There was not a dull moment. And I really enjoyed the female friendships, and I really enjoyed the central friendship of the two women in that book. This one, a little bit less so. I thought the characters were less strong. I thought the plot kind of meandered a little bit, but overall was still really, really good and so much fun. Like, so much fun. And it surprised me. I like vampire things from time to time, and I feel like there's a way to do it right that honors the lore, and there's a way to do it wrong that disregards the vampire lore, sort of the common knowledge that most people have about vampires. And I felt like Grady Hendrix did a good job honoring the lore, which I am excited. I'm just happy about. And then I also read, I'll just kind of flash it up here, My Antonia by Willa Cather. And surprisingly, that book is staying with me a little bit more than I thought it would. It's pretty quiet, it's pretty slow, it's a bit of a slice of life, but the way that time moves in the novel is really beautiful. And I found the first section and the last section really beautiful. It's about a young boy. What is his name? Oh my. Jim. It's told through the perspective of Jim, and he's telling Antonia's story. And they're in Nebraska, I believe. Let me think. Yes, the Nebraskan frontier. I don't know why I second guess myself, but he arrives in Nebraska, and this immigrant family arrives in Nebraska around the same time, and he is a little bit in love, or a little bit in like, or very intrigued with my Antonia of that family. And it talks about their years together and I don't know, the friendship that blooms and time apart. It was really good. It was really, really well done. So I'm so glad to have read it now. It's been on my to-read list for ages. And then I also read The Last Samurai by Helen DeWitt. That, that is a weird book, y'all. It's good and weird and my gracious. I have to really think about what I'm going to say. It was good. It was really good. It's a really compelling book. And I could see why somebody wouldn't like it. But it is really interesting. I don't know. I'm going to have to really gather my strength about that book and talk about it properly. But essentially, it's about a woman who has got a prodigy of a son. He's incredibly smart, just like gifted, incredible, brilliant young man. And yet he doesn't know, and I think you would get this at the back of the book, he doesn't know who his father is. And so it's like he's so smart that he creates a hero's journey for himself. And his quest is to like find his dad. In a way, it's weird. It's a weird book, but really, really compelling. Very thought-provoking. And I wish I could talk about it more eloquently than I am now, but we're going to have to just leave it at that. And then I finished those three I actually finished all those books like in the same day, pretty much. Like I was just like boom, 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 and they were done. And then I also just finished more recently Just Kids himself, which was quirky and weird and strange. I don't know. It's a weird one and different than, it's intentionally quirky. It's intentionally supposed to be a little cuckoo bananas crazy, off the walls, bizarro land kind of thing. And it didn't not work, but it was also very weird. So I have mixed feelings on it, and hopefully when I wrap things up at the end of the month, I'll be able to say more about it. I've also just started a cast by Isabel Wilkerson, and that's going well. Compelling. Her writing is beautifully conversational. And what else? I don't know. What else am I reading? Oh, I'll flash the book title of the book cover on the screen right now. It's a fantasy book, and I am, very much to my surprise, I started it before doing that fantasy video, or right around the time when that fantasy video posted, and to my surprise, it's going really well. This fantasy book, it's The Adventures of Amina Al-Savare, I think. I wasn't sure, but it sounded like a good time, and I was like, I want to try it. So I tried it, and I'm about halfway through, and it's going well. So, those are kind of broad strokes books I have been reading and finishing lately. And for all of you who are again, there's like been this wall. I feel like my manga journey is like on this weird pause. I've been reading it, but my mind has just not been in the manga-ness. And everyone that I've talked to has been so incredibly kind, saying, read One Piece, read it at your own pace, read it with, you know, at your own discretion. So I'm not pausing it. I just think like I have natural break. In my real life, this is my real life. As I've been reading One Piece, I've been really just full force on it, like since the beginning. I'm like, I just have been going with it. And I am just taking a little bit of a break. I think I'll probably be back sooner than I realize. But yeah, I've just been on a little bit of a hiatus with it. And I think I just needed to be, not necessarily for its own sake, in a vacuum. I love the story. It's been great. It's just been, again, a little bit of a difficult time trying to cram everything in when I've been blighted at all these different turns and feeling disconnected to boot. So for those of you who are here because I'm reading One Piece and like you really love those updates, I know I will be back probably sooner than I think with an update on it all. It's just been one of those times in my life where I feel like I'm busier than I want to be. And hopefully I've like cleared up some space in my own heart, like taking down some walls as I'm talking with you all about what's going on and how I've been feeling. And yeah, that's kind of it. That's all I really wanted to touch on. I'm going to the end of the year play today that my students are in, and I'm taking my children to see it. So I've gotten ready for that, and I'm excited. It's just been wonderful days, and even, you know, beautiful, wonderful. I'm so grateful, and I feel like I've been like just like things are just a little like moving a little bit faster than I would like, but it's okay. I know things will settle as change is something we can all look forward to, and even though it's been busy and such, I know things will slow down soon. So that's it. Oh gosh, that makes me feel so much better. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for spending this time with me. Let me know how you're doing. I want to know. Tell me how you are. I'm gonna sneeze. Tell me how you are. I want to know. Please let me know. I want to know. I want to connect. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here and spending this time with me. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye.